motors at all. And one thing I thought about maybe doing, but I'm not too sure if I'm actually going to do it or not, so. But, I might, for my videos, if I go to play music, I might try to find like a religious record to play with or something. Just to get one thing clear, I'm not really big into the whole entire religion deal and whatever, so I'll acknowledge that I'll acknowledge that it exists and all that, and there's no way it's ever going to go away at all, but I just want to point that out, so in case anybody was actually curious if I collect religious records at all, and I don't, so that's kind of like the one thing I try to avoid. But everyone has their taste and whatever, so I don't want to offend anybody with it, so. But there is one religious song that I can deal with. One is by the band called the Newsboys, for example. And there's also an old one by Power Source. That's a pretty good song. I think I got a copy around here somewhere. I actually got like 2 copies of it now. I'll probably get to that eventually, so. Alright, so we'll let this go through or whatever. Okay, so since we got that done, I'm probably gonna shut this thing off real quick, and I'm gonna do some stuff with the motors down below. So I want to move the camera back out of the way. Oops. Alright then. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to clean some of this grease off. Let's see. Okay, I got to double check to see what I needed again here. Flathead screwdriver, so. Okay, so, what I'm gonna do now, I'll probably bring my camera back down to the ground again. So, we'll put this right here. I will bring the camera back down closer to the ground level. Pretty close to it anyway. I think right there should do it. Okay. Alright. There. I think that's close enough. So now what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to frickin' take these motors apart. Yeah, the transfer motors, like I'm not going to tell the viewers. I'm going to take these motors apart, and then I'm going to show what I'm going to do to them. I can't get too deep inside this damn thing, but I'll at least get something on it anyway. Alright, so we're going to remove one screw, and we'll remove the second screw. We have to make sure we watch our bushings and whatever. So, we got these wires as well that's in the way. Which, whenever working with the motors on the Rock-ola, especially with these models, it's best to work with the gripper motor first to get it out of the way. And then you can get to the carousel motor, which I'm going to get to that since I get this off, because we're going to need to get to it. So, I'm going to disconnect our wire for it, and we're going to take this thing off, so that way we have a motor. I'm going to set it on its side temporarily. Now what I'm going to do is this. You can see there's a worm gear here at the end here. So, and what we're going to do, we're going to grease this sucker up. If the motor on these things ever go bad or something like that, it's mainly going to be because of the bushing that's down here. There's a little brass bushing that comes up on the bottom here that will eventually need to be replaced, because these pieces here kind of run up against them for power. It causes the motor to turn, and they will wear out. This one here is not too bad, so this is the other one. This is the only one that's really bad right now that I'm probably going to need replaced one day, is the carousel motor, because it's been running so many times around in circles that it's just wore itself out. And these things can wear themselves out, and once it's wore out, it's done. It's over. The motor itself will still work, but the whole entire spindle itself will need to be replaced. So, but since we got this thing here greased up, now we're going to do the same thing for the carousel one. So we're going to set that somewhere and make sure the bottom stays on, because if this falls off, then it'd be a pain in the butt at times. A real pain in the butt. So, right now I'm going to do this. I'm going to set it off to the side and let it sit there and try not to bump it. Now we're going to get the one that's more pain to get off. We're going to find its, get its power wire unhooked first, so that way it doesn't become a hazard. Because it will become a pain to get it off. I'm going to set the screws and all that to the side here, so I can get to this. Alright. You just have to be a real pain in the butt, aren't you? There we go. Alright, that's disconnected. I was going to watch this. I'm going to take this off. Alright, one screw is loose, so we don't have to worry about you. Now it's got to get this other one off. Damn it. Okay. This bugger. See, you loose now? Nope, not yet. Now you're loose. Okay. So now, since this thing is really tight, what we're going to have to do, this is going to be a real pain in the butt to do, but we're going to do this anyway. Take this cover off. Okay. We're going to set that down. What we want to do, we want to try to turn this. That way it comes out. This thing can be a real pain in the butt to come off at times, but it will come off. And there we have it. So, okay, so, yeah, just to kind of give you like an inside look here. Let's see if I can get this or not, I don't know. There we go. That's a little better. But you kind of see from right here that there's a bushing right there. This is the part right here that's going to get wore out. It's the piece underneath it here. I'll move these out of the way here for you. That way you can get a better look. But that's it right there. It's those pieces. This piece. This is the piece that's going to wear out. And this one here is pretty wore out. So, it's still functioning because these things do... Because these little pieces right here, they get pushed on with like a spring. They're spring loaded. So, and they hold on by these little plastic clips on the side here. You can see right here. But it's holding the piece, the spring, pushing up against that. So when this thing eventually wears out, this thing would be no good. So, now we're gonna back the camera off. So, what I'm gonna try to attempt to do without getting this thing fall off, because it could be a real pain in the rear end just to get it off. So I'm gonna get some of this old grease off of this inside here. I'm gonna get it. It's probably gonna be underneath my fingernails, but I ain't gonna be too worried. So, yeah, if you ever get a chance to get the old grease off, do it, because you don't want to try to get it intermixed with the new grease. Because it'll just be a big, huge hassle to deal with. Dealing with grease on top of grease. So, and this grease is pretty ugly. Alright, so to get some of the old grease off, now we're going to put some of this on. Put some new fresh grease on this. So now we're gonna do the same thing to this end here that we did the other one. And I'm just gonna kind of dip it in here. Give it a nice thick, give itself a nice thick coat right there. Alright, so now we got this baby all nice and lubed. It should be pretty good. It should be ready to go back in. So I'm going to keep our power water towards our left side of the jukebox when you're facing it from the front. And see if we can try to get this thing to line back up when we need it, because the screw holes on this thing don't really line up all that great, so that's kind of a real pain in the rear end trying to get it in there. So let's see. I'm going to try to get this thing back on here. See, the tip is right there, so there's going to be a little notch on these ends here that's going to point to where it's going to be at. Because these things only go on the motor one way, so. Let's see, there we go.